The third piece that the university can help with is in the area of evaluation. And that's also really helpful for the researcher themselves because we're really in the business of producing knowledge. But this is an opportunity to co-produce knowledge in a setting where really the problem is much more clearly articulated because people who know the problem best define it for you. So the third piece of our work together is that the children that Diane works with and her staff work with very successfully, every summer they train about...
in the summer we have about 35 kids.
35 kids. So my job is to interview and track them every year and see whether the work that the staff is doing with them, what kind of impact it has on their behavior change, and really documenting. One of the benefits, I could say it's a luxury being in the university because I have the ability to think long-term sometimes, whereas they're very busy dealing with day-to-day issues, correct?
Yes.
And so I have the luxury of watching what happens with these kids over, now I've been doing it for 4 years, and share that result with the MAP staff so they can modify their programs as they go along, and sometimes causing me to modify the questions that I ask about that important topic. And then the final one for the university, like I said before, it provides an opportunity to engage students and train them in a relatively new area of planning for us, which is food systems planning. So I have a couple of slides on 3 distinct projects. This is an example. This is a cover of the report for Food for Growth that was prepared in 2003. Incidentally, the students who worked on this report and learned from this project have gone on to other communities and do very much community-based participatory work. This plan received the 2005 National American Planning Association award as well, so the students did a phenomenal job. I should say, to be able to do this, sometimes you have to have the benefit of having a boss, a colleague, or a mentor who's willing to let you take the risk. In my case, it was actually Dr. Kate Foster. When I went to her and said, here's an idea, we're thinking of putting this plan together for the Massachusetts Avenue project, but we have no money to do it. Can I still do it? And she took maybe 2 seconds and she said, yes, do it. So it was great. This is, like I mentioned, these are students who participate in Growing Green. Maybe you want to tell the story of one student. I'm thinking about, yes.
Okay. I'll tell you a little bit about Edwin. I've known him since he was 6. And he's been coming to MAP since then. And when we started Growing Green, he was 12 and was in the program for, I think, 4 years. And he's a kid who, very curious, loves food, was one of our kids who went home and started a garden in his own yard. And he, for a while, actually changed his diet, became a vegetarian. Tried veganism for about a week. Lasts very long. But the thing that, part of what we train our kids in is really looking at their place in community and what does it mean when in your community you can't find healthy food. And that was Edwin's main frustration, is that he, really wanted to change his eating habits, but the food he got at school, the food that was available in his neighborhood was not good food, and he often complained about that. His mother even called me one time and said, every time now I take him to the grocery store, he wants all the organic food and I can't afford it, so stop teaching him about this.
To complement that, Edwin was one of the individuals in the survey that I did over several years. And it was pretty clear in this evaluation survey that the children's awareness of where their food comes from changes dramatically. Their awareness of what is healthy changes dramatically. So I did the statistical tests, all of that. But what didn't change, and it's borne out by what Diane's talking about, their actual dietary habits didn't change. And unless I had the benefit of having that conversation or hearing about that conversation with Edwin, I probably couldn't as readily point to the explanation for why I was seeing the result that I was seeing. Attitudes have changed, but behavior hasn't changed. And I think that's one of the values of community-based research, is that you're better able to explain the findings of your research because you're better able to get at those answers. In this particular case, that was one of the reasons that the mobile market project, I think, is such a great next step to that conclusion, because it really changes the food environment for many of these kids. The third example is also about bridging research and implementation. One of the projects that we worked on is that I conducted an assessment of food deserts in Erie County, which was literally measuring for every parcel of land in Erie County what individuals on that parcel would be able to access, and provided that map to MAP. And MAP is using that general map to guide where the mobile market would go. And of course, here's where the research and the reality meets. And when I said, here's where the food deserts are, here's where the mobile market would be great, it should go, the staff responded and said, I don't think so, because we have no community partners there. So you have to modify the findings of your research based on the realities on the ground. And we're certainly experiencing that here. Do you want to say anything about the mobile market?
Nothing further, but Samina's research again really helped us figure out where to send the vehicle.
So those were the three specific examples. There are many challenges to doing this, but also many opportunities. And I'll share a couple of challenges and opportunities, and then if Diane wants to share some, that would be great. From my perspective, the university works on a different timeline than the community. And if you're entering, if you're entering into a community partnership, and this is more for the university representatives, it's important to not do it in a casual fashion. It's better for everyone involved that you know what you're doing, what the expectations are on both sides, so that when you leave that partnership or when you finish your work, it's not done in a haphazard manner. Nobody's there are fewer unmet expectations. It's tough. It's important to plan in advance, because in the community, it's important to get things done quickly to show that you have results, whereas researchers, myself included, wants to think and ponder and test and check before I'm willing to say this is the right path. By the time I submit my evaluation report to MAP, MAP's already made modifications to their program, so sometimes I have to play catch up with them. So I think my general suggestion and recommendation for everyone is that don't try to fit with a group that is really not a good fit for you. Don't try to fit with a researcher that's really not a good fit for you. Look for groups and researchers that really meet your research and organization's need well. And I was fortunate to find that with Matt.
And I know we're out of time, but I just want to quickly say that we have been blessed in so many ways to have Samina be a partner with us for so long and really take us, down this road. All the work that we've done and the successes we've had are based on her research, and I think the challenging thing for me is that we wish we could have her full time working for us, because there's so much still to do in this issue, and but we're really grateful to have this partnership.
Can I just say Diane will be here in the afternoon? Are you here?
Yes.
To answer questions.